Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something pretty fascinating, a cultural phenomenon you've probably seen pop up, the Disney adult.
Right.
You know, Disney means childhood for so many, but there's this big, very visible group of grown-ups who are just like fully embracing the magic. No apologies.
Yeah, and it's not just, oh, I liked The Lion King as a kid. It's often much more involved.
Exactly. So our mission today is really to unpack this. Who are these folks? What's drawing them in so deeply? Why do they get such strong reactions? You know, both love and, frankly, a lot of criticism.
A lot of criticism sometimes.
Yeah, and what does it all tell us about, well, fandom today, consumerism, maybe even how we define being an adult? We want to get past the surface level stuff.
Yeah, look beyond the mouse ears, so to speak.
Definitely.
And what's interesting right off the bat is how it kind of challenges our normal ideas about what adults should be into.
Right.
When we say Disney adults, we're talking about a really broad group. Grown-ups could be 20s, 30s, way beyond that.
Yeah, any age, really.
And they actively, often very publicly, dive into Disney culture. It's a whole spectrum.
It really is a spectrum. That's a key point. It's not just one thing.
Not at all. You've got people whose whole focus is the parks, annual passes, planning trips, like military campaigns.
Oh, yeah, tracking ride openings, dining reservations. Like, they know everything. The dedication is kind of amazing.
It really is.
Yeah.
Then you have the collectors. Their houses might be, shrines to Funko Pops or pins or maybe really rare vintage stuff.
Those tangible pieces of the magic.
Exactly. Their connections, right? Physical links to the stories. And then there's this huge segment now, the content creators.
Ah, the YouTubers, the TikTokers.
Yeah. Reviewing snacks, giving park tips, filming their trips for like thousands, sometimes millions of followers. They turn their passion into this whole public performance almost.
It's that really deep kind of multi-layered engagement that's so interesting. But if you had to boil it down, what's the absolute core appeal, like the main driver?
Okay. If you had to pick one thing, it's got to be nostalgia.
Right, makes sense.
But it's not just, oh, I remember that. The sources suggest it taps into what psychologists call autobiographical memory bumps.
Oh, okay. What's that?
It's like those really vivid, emotionally strong memories from when you were younger, often soaked in Disney's very consistent messaging, So many grew up with it. And revisiting that as an adult gives this powerful sense of comfort, maybe stability. Some research calls it a comfort economy in, well, our pretty uncertain world.
A comfort economy. Wow.
Yeah, and the parks especially become this like physical and emotional escape hatch, a safe zone.
So it's not just remember, it's almost like re-feeling something, a kind of psychological anchor that clicks. But, like any big cultural thing, Disney adults get celebrated for their passion, their community spirit.
Oh, definitely.
But man, they also get a lot of heat, criticism, debate. It's not universally loved. So what does that push-pull mean for you, just watching how culture works? We're going to dig into both sides.
Yeah, it's a really interesting tension there.
So, okay, nostalgia is huge, foundational. But what else is pulling adults into Disney culture so strongly?
Well, that emotional connection we just talked about.
Yeah.
It's incredibly powerful. For a lot of people, Disney isn't just, fun movies.
Right.
It's a direct line back to what feels like a simpler, maybe safer time. You walk down Main Street, USA, hear that music.
Yeah, it hits you.
It triggers really strong positive feelings.
Yeah.
And it's not just escapism like, oh, I'm ignoring my problems. It's more like a deliberate search for comfort, for joy. Choosing to engage with stories that offer hope in a world that can feel pretty cynical sometimes.
That deep personal feeling is definitely a big part. But it also feels really communal, like it goes beyond just one person's feelings.
Well, absolutely. That's another huge piece.
The
The community.
Yeah.
The sense of belonging.
Finding your tribe.
Totally. The Disney adult community is massive. It's organized. It's connected. You see these booming online groups, forums, park meetups.
Yeah.
People bond over rides, movies, characters, tiny park details. And for a lot of folks, finding that group who just gets it, that's huge.
Social validation, a shared language.
Exactly. Especially if maybe they don't feel that understood elsewhere. And for the content creators, it connects to that idea of parasocial relationship.
Right, where followers feel this strong kind of one-way bond.
Yeah, which builds that sense of community even tighter around the brand itself.
So it's not just sitting back and watching, it's active involvement in a social web.
Yeah.
And it seems like creativity bubbles up from that too.
Yes, which leads to another really cool aspect, how the passion turns into making things.
Like
Disney culture really encourages creativity. Think about Disney bounding.
Oh, yeah, where people put together outfits inspired by characters, but they're not, like, full costumes.
Exactly. Sophisticated outfits. It's subtle, but other fans recognize it. It's a kind of identity signaling or performative fandom.
Or creative challenge.
Sure.
Showing your love through style.
Right. And others make fan art, right? Fan fiction, or, like we said, build whole careers as influencers. Disney becomes this, like, launching pad for their own expression. They're interacting with the magic, not just consuming it. Blurs the lines between fan and creator.
That's really interesting, using the brand as a jumping off point for your own thing. And for so many people, it also feels tied to something maybe even deeper, like tradition.
Precisely. Tradition and ritual are massive. Think about families who go to Disney every year or every other year.
Generational trips.
Cast down. Adults go back again and again. Mark birthdays, anniversaries, big life moments there.
Yeah.
These traditions lock in those emotional ties. Disney becomes part of their family story, you know. It's not just a holiday, it's an heirloom experience woven into their lives.
Yeah.
Building new memories on top of the old ones.
Okay, but here's where it often shifts. Despite all that joy, community, creativity, the meaning, not everyone is cheering for Disney adults.
No, definitely not.
They face some serious pushback. Mockery, even. Why? What are the main criticisms?
Well, the reaction can be really strong, almost visceral sometimes. Despite the genuine joy these fans find,
Yeah.
they get targeted. The internet is just full of memes, calling them cringe, immature, obsessive even.
Right, get a real hobby kind of thing.
Exactly. The argument is often that Disney is for kids, and adults who get too into it are somehow avoiding real life, failing to grow up properly.
Oof. That's harsh, like arrested development.
It taps into these deeper societal ideas about what's appropriate for adults to like or do.
But there's also a criticism that's less about maturity and more about, well, money.
Yes, the consumerism angle, that's a big one.
Because let's face it, it's expensive.
It really is. Annual passes, all the merch, the themed experiences, the trips, it adds up fast.
So the critics say.
Critics often see this devotion as basically corporate brainwashing, that fans are just caught up in a super effective, very profitable marketing machine. There's an interesting point in the sources about Disney's mastery of experiential marketing, how buying the thing or going to the park isn't just buying something.
It's like
Participating.
Exactly. Fans often see it as actively participating in keeping the magic alive. They feel like they're helping steward the brand.
Which sounds good to the fan, but the critic sees
An exploitative loop. Where does real passion stop and commercial exploitation start? Especially with the constant stream of new stuff to buy, new experiences to have.
And it's not just the money, right? There's a deeper critique people raise about the actual content.
Yeah, this goes beyond just personal taste or spending habits. It's about the stories themselves.
How so?
Well, the critique is that Disney, historically and even now, tends to sanitize things. Complex cultural stories, folk tales, historical figures.
They get the Disney treatment?
Right. Which often means removing the darker parts, the cultural specifics, and creating this universally appealing, optimistic, kind of simplified version.
Okay.
So that raises questions about what fans are really celebrating, especially if those stories gloss over or even whitewash historical or cultural truths. Are the underlying messages maybe limiting, even if unintentionally? So putting it all together, the deep appeal of the community, but also these serious criticisms. What are the bigger takeaways here? Why does this whole Disney adult thing matter culturally?
Well, connecting it to the bigger picture, the whole debate around Disney adults really hits some fundamental cultural nerves.
Like what?
It makes us ask big questions about adulthood itself, like who gets to decide what's okay for grown-ups to enjoy?
Yeah, good point.
Why is being a diehard sports fan or collecting vintage cars, often expensive hobbies too, seen as totally acceptable, even cool for adults?
Right.
But loving Disney gets dismissed as childish. It really challenges how we define maturity, the lines we draw around adult hobbies and identity.
It also feels like it says something about how we connect with brands now, how we build our identities maybe.
Absolutely. That's a huge piece. It really reflects these shifting consumer identities.
How so?
In today's world, brands aren't just things we buy. They're increasingly seen as communities, right? As extensions of who we are, platforms for expressing ourselves.
And Disney adults are like Exhibit A.
Pretty much. They blur that line between just being a fan and making it a whole lifestyle. It shows how deeply people can weave a company's stories and values into their own personal narrative. Brand loyalty becomes identity formation.
Wow. Okay, so it's not all just debate and criticism.
Right.
Setting that aside, Disney adults actually contribute positive things too, right?
Oh, unquestionably. Their passion keeps the parks busy, keeps movies getting made, keeps the merch selling.
Keeps Disney relevant.
Exactly. Relevant and available for new generations. But beyond the business side, many Disney adults use their passion for good.
Like volunteering.
Yeah, volunteering with kids' charities, creating really welcoming online spaces where people feel accepted for what they love, or just bringing joy to their own friends and family. Sharing experiences, deliberately cultivating that sense of wonder. They're actively spreading optimism in a way.
And in a world that, let's be honest, can feel pretty cynical and tough.
Right.
That ability to consciously hold on to joy, onto wonder, and spread it, that feels, well, pretty valuable, refreshing.
It really is.
Yeah.
When cynicism feels like the default setting sometimes, seeing people deliberately maintain wonder and optimism, it's quite invigorating.
Yeah.
For a lot of them, loving Disney isn't about just hiding from reality and fantasy. It's more about bringing that spirit of optimism, maybe resilience, maybe just plain joy into their daily lives. It's a choice to look for the bright side and find connection there.
Wow. What an amazing deep dive this has turned out to be. We've peeled back so many layers on this Disney adult thing today. And it's clear they're in this really unique, kind of dynamic cultural spot, loved by some, critiqued sometimes intensely by others, but you definitely can't ignore them.
Yeah, what stands out is how their whole passion really pushes against our standard ideas of adulthood, of fandom. It just blurs those lines, doesn't it, between childhood nostalgia and grown-up identity.
Totally.
We've talked about all the different pulls, the deep nostalgia, the autobiographical memory bumps, the community, the parasocial stuff, the creativity, the tradition.
Right, and the criticisms, too. The perceived immaturity, the consumerism angle, that experiential marketing loop.
And those important questions about simplifying narratives, about representation.
And we can't forget their positive impact either, keeping this huge cultural thing alive and vibrant, but also just actively trying to spread positivity, foster optimism, pushing us to think about what adult interests even mean. They really are, in a lot of ways, an engine for joy and connection, and maybe making us rethink things.
Absolutely.
So whether you look at them and see dreamers holding on to something precious from their past, or maybe dedicated players in a very slick consumer world, one thing feels really clear.
What's that?
Disney adults are more than just fans. They're a community that seems determined to hold on to joy, to celebrate creativity, and basically insist that, magic doesn't have to stop when you grow up.
Yeah. And maybe in a world that often feels stressful, divided, uncertain, maybe consciously holding on to a bit of that magic, that wonder, that connection. I mean, it isn't just okay, but actually kind of valuable, kind of vital for getting through modern life. So what really stands out to you when you think about the value of wonder, creativity, and finding joy as an adult? How do we choose to bring that into our own lives?